Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Chaitanya Caritāmrta audio class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णकृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. We are discussing from Chaitanya Charitāmrita, Madhya lila. We are on chapter 8. The talks between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. So far we have heard Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. He came from Navadip to Jagannath Puri on the request of Shachi Mata. There he met Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, transformed Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, made him into a devotee. And then after a few months, Mahaprabhu expressed his desire to go to South India. All the devotees, they were telling, please wait for few more days. And they said, please take one of us at least, Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Pandit, Damodar Pandit, Mukunda. Everybody was requesting. Mahaprabhu said, I can't take any of you. Nityananda broke my danda. Jagadananda always wants to give me sense gratification. Mukunda, he suffers when I do austerity. And this Damodar Pandit, he chastises me, although he's a brahmachari. So, on the pretext of finding faults in their behavior, actually Mahaprabhu was glorifying their affection for him. Then ultimately they said, okay, take one person at least. Tomar dui hasta baddanam ganane jalapatra bahirvas vahivakyamane. Your both hands would be busy chanting. How will you carry your jalpatra bahirvas? So then they give Kal Krishna Das. Mahaprabhu goes to Sarvam Bhattacharya to take permission. Sarvam Bhattacharya says, please stay for a few more days. Mahaprabhu stays for 5 more days. Sarvam Bhattacharya and his wife serves Mahaprabhu. And then with a very heavy heart, Mahaprabhu, Sarvam Bhattacharya, he gives permission to Mahaprabhu. And while Mahaprabhu was leaving, he said, please meet Ramananda Rai. Don't think he is a Vishay and Shudra, he is a governor in Vidyanagar. रामानंद राय আছে গোদাবরী তীরে অধিকারী হতে হো বিদ্যানগরে শুদ্র বিষয় জ্ঞানে উপেক্ষা না করিব আমার বচনে তারে অবশ্য মিলিব please don't think him to be a shudra vishay please meet him he is a great devotee he is the only person qualified to you know associate with and Mahaprabhu he comes he goes to Alalnath. He starts a Sankirtan movement. Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu makes a prediction there. एही रूपे नृत्य आगे होबे ग्रामे ग्रामे देखी नित्यानंद प्रभु कहे भक्तगणे एही रूपे नृत्य आगे होबे ग्रामे ग्रामे Mahaprabhu he starts his journey in South India. He was transforming villages after villages. He reaches Kovur, Vidyanagar. he finds Ramananda Rai. He was coming to take bath with a huge procession of all the brahmanas reciting mantras and many ministers along with him. Mahaprabhu embraces Ramananda Rai. They both go into ecstasy, but the brahmanas, they were getting confused. Like, how come this sannyasi is embracing a Shudra? And why this Ramananda Rai, who is a very sober personality, he's Gambhir, why he is getting disturbed by when he is embraced by Mahaprabhu, is sannyasi? Vijatiya lok dekhi Prabhu kaila samvaran. Mahaprabhu restrained his ecstasies because he realized that people are not understanding. They decided for a place to meet. They meet in a secluded place in the evening, and the wonderful discussion starts there. Mahaprabhu asks about various things. He asks, please tell me about the sadhya and sadhan. So many things are described by Ramananda Rai. Swadharmacharan, Hei Sadhya Sar, Mahaprabhu says, Eho Bahya, Krishna Karmarpana, Eho Bahya. And then he says, Jnana Mishra Bhakti. After that, he says, Swadharma Tyaga, Eho Bahya, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Eho Bahya, Jnana Shunya Bhakti, Eho Bhai. Please speak more. Then he describes about Jnana Bhakti. Then he describes Prema Bhakti. In the Prema Bhakti, Dasya Prem, Sakhya Prem, Vatsalya Prem, and then Kanta Prem. I want to hear more. Please speak more. He starts describing the position of gopis. I want to hear more. And the highest gopi is Radharani. Ramananda Rai describes the glories of Radharani. And then he describes the wonderful, very intimate, confidential secrets about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Mahaprabhu is so very happy. He says, I am so very happy hearing your wonderful explanation. Ramananda Rai says, well, I am a puppet in your hands. Ami nat tumi sutradhar, tumi yehi mat nachao taishe chahi nachi bar. You are making me dance. I am like a puppet. My jihva is like a string of the veena. You are the veena vadak. You are creating all these wonderful explanations from my tongue. And then he describes about the Radha Swarupa. Then he describes about the Swarup of Krishna. And we discussed till verse number 185, where again he describes the glories of Srimati Radharani. So then after hearing about the glories of Srimati Radharani, Mahaprabhu, he wanted to hear about the glories of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So that is what will be described further. So Mahaprabhu, now he is asking Ramananda Rai, please describe about the wonderful affairs of Radha and Krishna, how they enjoy their conjugal love. Ramananda Rai describes, Krishna is Dhira Lalita. And who is Dhira Lalita? Dhir Lalit is a person who always keeps his girlfriends under his control. And he only enjoys sense gratification. Srila Prabhupada, as soon as this very, very sensitive point has come, Prabhupada makes it very clear. We should always remember Krishna's sense gratification is not like the sense gratification of the people of the world. The affairs of the boy and girl of this world, they are full of lust. They are like iron. The affairs of Radha and Krishna are like the gold. There is no tinge of lust in that. There is no presence of personal sense gratification there. We cannot even understand what is the conjugal affair of Radha and Krishna in our conditioned state. Prabhupada writes, The perverted reflection of that sense gratification found in the material world is like iron. And Prabhupada never ever leaves a chance to establish Krishna as the person. Prabhupada writes, the purport is that Krishna is not impersonal. He has desires. And an impersonal thing has no desires. It is a how can an impersonal object has a desire? Krishna has a desire, that means he is a person. So nobody should think Krishna is impersonal Brahman. No, that is not the complete understanding of Krishna. When Mayavadis they say that Krishna is not person, is impersonal, they are actually offending the Supreme Lord. So therefore, Prabhupada never leaves a chance to glorify and establish Krishna as person. Because for a devotee, it is very painful to hear that his worshipable Lord has no form. How can you say that? So that's how Prabhupada everywhere, anywhere he gets a chance, he refutes this Mayavad and he defeats all these scientists. Scientists, they defy the existence of God, and Mayavadis, they defy the existence of personal God. So Prabhupada was very much against these two categories of people, Mayavadis and Sannyasis. Kaviraj Goswami continues. Vidagdo navatarunya parihasa visharadaha nischanto dhirlitaha syat praya prayasi vashaha. Ramanand Rai gives the definition of Dhir Lalit. Who is a Dhir Lalit? Vidagda, he is very cunning. Navatarunya, he is very youthful. Parihasa Visharada, he is expert in joking. Nischanta, he is without any anxiety. And Praya Prayasi Vashaha, he keeps his girlfriends always under his control, subjugated. He is Dhir Lalita. So, all these are very, very high level of descriptions given. We have no rights. We have no adhikar. We are just discussing all this as a matter of continuity. And all these descriptions, they are very esoteric. And Mahaprabhu is tasting this wonderful description. That is the proof itself that they have no ordinary material lust. They are not material lusty affairs between an ordinary boy and girl. Because Mahaprabhu, who is a topmost sannyasi, he never ever even comes near the lady and talks to the lady directly. So what to speak of talking about the affairs of them? He continues that Krishna is always enjoying the company of Srimati Radharani, and they're always absorbed in those material affairs. And Krishna is always expert in dealing with all the gopis, always enjoying with them, giving them all the wonderful, blissful experience. Hearing this, Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe eho hai aage kaho aar, Rai kahe iha vai buddhi gati nahi yaar. Mahaprabhu says, please speak more. This is all right. He wants to hear more. Ramanand Rai says, I don't think my intelligence can go beyond this. He informed Mahaprabhu that after he said that my intelligence is not going beyond this, again he started describing. He said, okay, I'll speak a description given in Prema Vilas Vivarta, that is composed by Ramanand Rai himself. So Ramanand Rai, he is Vishakha Sakhi in the spiritual world, and he wrote original compilation, which is named as Prema Vivarta Vilas. Vilasa Vivarta. So he informs Mahaprabhu that there is another topic known as Prema Vilas Vivarta, kindly hear from me. But I don't know whether it will make you happy or not. But still, anyways, I'll speak. And then Ramanand Rai begins to sing a song which he had himself composed. And those topics were so high. Mahaprabhu, he covered the hand, he immediately covers the hand, mouth of Ramanand Rai with his own hand. Please don't speak it loudly. And Prabhupada gives a detailed purport in this verse. The topics which are about to be discussed between Mahaprabhu and Ramanand Rai, they cannot be understood by a materialistic poet or by material intelligence, material conception. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he describes, spiritual mellow can be realized only when a person is on the transcendental platform. And that platform is called as Vasudeva, Vishuddha Sattva platform. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam Yadiyate Yatra Pumana Pavritaha. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. That platform of pure consciousness is called as Vasudeva platform. That is a pure platform without any material contamination. Because in that pure platform, Lord manifests his glories. This verse comes in the 4th canto of Bhagavatam, in the talks between Lord Shiva and Parvati. Lord Shiva is telling, Parvati is telling Lord Shiva, please come and we'll go to attend this sacrifice of Daksha, my father. Lord Shiva is trying to convince her, please don't go. She says, no. He will be very happy. So many discussions happen. Ultimately, Sati, she starts thinking, I think you don't like my father. That's why you don't want to go. Lord Shiva says, I am not envious of your father. If you want to really find out the truth, sit in meditation and ask the Lord in your heart. I have no envy. Why you didn't get up? When my father entered, you should have gotten up. Lord Shiva says, I was in meditation. What can I do? I didn't even realize that he is coming. Sati says, आपको उसी टाइम में meditation में जाना था. Why you went into meditation at that time itself? That time, Lord Shiva speaks this verse. Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam Yadiyate Yatra Pumana Pavritaha. He says, what can I do? Lord is not under my control. When I pray to the Lord, meditate on the Lord with a purified heart, Lord manifests whenever he likes. What is my fault there? If we want the Lord to manifest in our heart, we have to first purify our heart of all the anarthas and conditionings which we have by the process of chanting, hearing, serving. These things are like the fire which will burn away all the contaminations. Just like the fire burns the firewood, the fire of bhakti will burn all the anarthas. Our subtle conditionings will be purified. Our subtle body will be purified. Jarayati ashu yakosham nigirnam analo yatha. Prabhupada writes, since the mind and intelligence is material, the loving affairs of Radha Krishna are beyond their understanding. We cannot understand loving affairs of Radha Krishna. Only in a pure state, sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishigesha sevaram bhaktiruchyate. After we give up all the upadhis, all the misconceptions, and engage our senses in serving the Lord, then we can experience Krishna. Prabhupada writes, spiritual mellow is eternally wonderful and is described as Purna, Shuddha, Nitya Mukta. Purna, Shuddha, Nitya Mukta, Abhinnatvat Naminamina. Nam Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shuddha Nityamukta Abhinnatvat Naminamina. It is complete, perfectly pure, and eternally liberated. That is spiritual melody. And that we can experience when we chant in pure consciousness. But because now currently our consciousness is not pure, we are not chanting purely, we cannot experience this. So there is sorrow and confusion. Prabhupada writes, when we are unable to fulfill our material desires, there is certainly sorrow and confusion. This may be described as vivarta. But in the spiritual life, there is no sorrow, inebriety, or imperfection. Spiritual life makes one free of three things: shoka, moha, and bhaya. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam Krishne paramapurushe bhaktirutpadyate pumsam shoka moha bhayapaha. When we start hearing the names of the Lord, Yasyam vai shruyamanayam, when we hear the glories of Krishna, who is Purna Purusha, what happens? Bhakti utpadyate. Bhakti arises in the heart. And as soon as bhakti arises, three things go away: lamentation, illusion, and fear. Shoka, moha, and bhaya. So in spiritual life, there is no shoka, there is no illusion, there is no fear. That is the journey of a spiritual practitioner. From the world which is full of shoka, moha, and bhaya, to a consciousness which is free from all these emotions. Prabhupada writes there are three books prominent in this connection. There was one person, Bhaktadas Paula. He has written a book called Vivarta Vilas. Then Jagadananda Pandit also wrote a book, Prema Vivarta. And Ramananda Rai also wrote a book, Prema Vilasa Vivarta. Among these three, this Bhaktadas Paula, his book is completely different from other two books because he is not presenting the philosophy properly. Prabhupada writes, if one wants to take PhD from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first it should be approved by Ramananda Rai. When Ramananda Rai, after Mahaprabhu reaches Jagannath Puri, Ramananda Rai leaves everything and goes to be with Mahaprabhu always. Anyone would like to present any compilation, it has to be first authorized and approved by Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar Goswami. So Prabhupada writes, if one actually wants to take PhD degree from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and be approved by Ramananda Rai, he must become first free from all the material designations. First qualification is you have to be free from material designation. इहयस्य हरेर्दास्ये कर्मणा मनसा गिरा निखिलाशो अवस्थासु जीवन मुक्त सौच्यते. So after one becomes Jivan Mukta, then one can even think of entering all these esoteric pastimes. Otherwise it is not our job. We cannot even think of delving into all these topics. Person who identifies with this material body cannot understand the talks between Ramananda Rai and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So far it was okay till the time he said, okay, Jnana Shunya Bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti, that was okay. Prema Bhakti, that is not our scope of learning. We are not entitled because we are not purified. But still, as a matter of reading, we are discussing all this. Otherwise, just because somebody can read English cannot make him qualified to understand quantum physics. It requires adhikar. It requires qualification. Just because somebody is expert in Sanskrit, he cannot understand Bhagavatam. There should be adhikar. As Krishna says, "O Arjun, why I am speaking to you this knowledge? Sa evayam mayadhyadya yoga prokta puratana bhakto You are my devotee and Sakha, you are my friend. There should be a qualification. So just because a person has a material intelligence cannot make him qualified to lead Ramanand Rai and Mahaprabhu's discussions. Prabhupada writes, man-made religious scripture and transcendental philosophical talks are quite different. There is a gulf of difference. That's why Bhagavatam, first canto, fifth chapter describes all the literatures of the world. They are compared to a place of pilgrimage for the crows. And all the literatures describing the spiritual world, they are the place where swans are there. Tadvaga visargo janatagha viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhatthavatyapi namanyanantasya yashonkitanyat shanvanti gayanti grinanti sadhavaha. There is another creation altogether. Tadvaga visarga, that creation is meant to create a revolution in the lives of misdirected civilization. Pratishlokam, even if there are so many faults in that, no problem. The devotees still read, relish, and share. But all the other things, they are like via Samtirtham. Devotees are not interested in that. Similarly, Prabhupada writes, since material philosophers, they are situated in material conception of life, they cannot understand the spiritual prema vilas vivartan. They are only interested in material vivartam. Material vivarta means problems, sorrow, confusion. But there is a spiritual prema vivarta where all these emotions, they are a part of spiritual practitioners. The devotee at the level of prema, they also experience sorrow because they cannot see Krishna. They feel separation from Krishna. But that sorrow brings greater joy. We cannot understand this. Prabhupada writes, all the material philosophers, whatever they are doing, it is as if somebody can try to accommodate an elephant upon a plate, upon a dish. How can you accommodate an elephant on a dish? It is like a kupamandu kanyai. A frog in the well can never understand the expanse of the Pacific Ocean. Our intelligence is like that frog in the well. We can never understand in our conditioned state. So therefore, Mahaprabhu stopped him, covering his mouth with his own hand. Please don't speak so loudly. And then Mahaprabhu, he starts speaking all the wonderful verses, original verses he has composed. There, he's describing how Krishna and Radharani, they feel when they are separated. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the next verse purport, Bhaktivinoda Thakur suggests that during the time of conjugal enjoyment, the attachment might be compared to Cupid. Because in all these affairs, we'll see that there is a mention of lust, there is mention of kama, rati. All these words look similar to what we have experienced, we have heard of in this world. But the words are same, but the meaning is not the same. For example, there may be two hotels. There is a five-star hotel in the Malabar Hill, and there is a five-star hotel in Dharavi. So the name may be same, but what do you think will be there in the five-star hotel of Dharavi? The person in Dharavi may also name his hotel as five-star. But the five-star hotel of Dharavi is not even comparable to the washroom of the five-star hotel of Malabar Hill. You know. So that's the difference between the love of this world and love of the spiritual world. In this material world, there is no love. It is only lust. But the love of spiritual world, it is pure. It has no material motives. All the gopis and Radharani and all the inhabitants of Vaikuntha and Goloka, they have no lust. In the Bhagavatam, third canto, it is described the denizens of Vaikuntha. Vaimānikāsalalana charitani shashvat gayanti yatra shamalam shapanani bharatu antarjalenu vikasan madhumadhavinam gandhena khanditathiya apyanilam shipantah. In Vaikuntha, everyone has a personal flame. Vaimanika, they have their beautiful wives, Salalana, and they are roaming in that flame. They are going through various beautiful, fragrant gardens of Vaikuntha, which has all the fragrant flowers, Madhumadhavi flowers. And the entire atmosphere is full of fragrance. All these descriptions, they create lusty desires when they are there in the material world. Along, if somebody is with a beautiful companion, going through the gardens, all the fragrance is there. But in the Vaikuntha, what is happening? Vaimanika salalana charitani shashvat. What are they doing? Charitani shashvat gayanti. Both of them, they are not discussing about the lusty affairs. They are glorifying the Supreme Lord's wonderful pastimes. Charitani shashvat gayanti. Vaimanika salalana charitani shashvat gayanti yatra shamalam shapanani bharatu. Shamalam, there is no shamala, there is no lust there. Although they are in the midst of all the sense gratifications available. Gandhena akhandita dhiyaha. Their consciousness is not khandit, not disturbed, interrupted by lusty desires. That is spiritual world where there is no lust. So in our current contaminated consciousness, we cannot understand. So therefore, Prabhupada and all these things, they mention similar terms, cupid, lust, sex, rati, but it is not anything of this world. So we have to just accept them with faith, just waiting for the time to get purified of the anarthas, so that one day we may be able to appreciate a particle of a drop of this ocean of this wonderful pastimes of Krishna. Prabhupada writes, and Srimati Radharani was fully absorbed in love of Krishna. She mistook a black tamal tree for Krishna and embraced it. Such a mistake is called Prema Vilasa Vivarta. So that is, Prema Vilasa, when somebody is completely confused in separation from Krishna. And then Ramananda Rai spoke another verse, which is mentioned in Rupa Goswami's Ujjwal Neelamani. And Mahaprabhu, after hearing all these verses, he says, Prabhu kahe sadhya vastura avadhi hai hoy, tomara prasadeiha janilo nischay. Prabhu kahe, Mahaprabhu is saying, sadhya vastura avadhi. This is the limit of the goal of human life. There can be nothing higher than this. Tomara prasade, by your mercy, I have understood it. So just imagine the humility of Mahaprabhu. Throughout the, discussions between Ramanand Rai and Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is always explaining, I'm Amito Mayavadi Sannyasi. I don't know anything. I have come to hear Krishna Katha from you, and you are glorifying me, thinking that I am a sannyasi. तुम्हार ठाई आइला तुम्हार महिमा सुनिया तुम्ही मोरे स्तुति कर सन्यासी जानिया. What is this? Again and again, Mahaprabhu is glorifying Ramanand Rai, and Ramanand Rai is glorifying Mahaprabhu. So when Ramanand Rai says, by your mercy I have understood all this, again Ramanand Rai says, and before that again Mahaprabhu says, actually the goal of life which you have described, Sadhyera Avadhi, this is a goal. But one can attain the goal of life only by the sadhan. Can you explain me the process to achieve this goal? You have described the goal now. Can you please explain this process now, sadhan? So Ramanand Rai, he is now expressing his humility. Rai kahe kaha se kahi vani, ki kahiye bhal mand chui na jani. Whatever, oh my Lord, whatever you are making me speak, I am speaking. Whether I am speaking right or wrong, I don't know. Ki kahiye bhal mand chui na jani. And he says, Tribhuvan Madhya Iche Hoye Kon Dheer, Ye Tomar Maya Nate Hoy Bekas Thera. Oh my Lord, who is there within these three worlds who will be undisturbed when you show your actions? When you start working through your energies, who can be undisturbed? I am just an instrument in your hands, oh my Lord. You are making me speak. Actually, you are the mouth. You are speaking through my mouth, and you are also listening. It is so very wonderful. You are making me speak, and you are listening. Mora mukhe vakta tumi hao shrota atyantarasya shuna sadhanera katha. Mora mukhe vakta tumi. Actually, you are only speaking through my mouth, and you are only hearing also. Tumi hao shrota. So you are speaking and you are only hearing. This is amazing. This is mystical. Anyways, because you have asked me, now I'll speak about Sadhanera Katha. I'll explain the process by which this can be achieved. Prabhupada again brings us to the basic understanding. No one should hear about the descriptions of bhakti from a non-devotee. One should hear Krishna Katha only from a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava mukhodgirnam putam hari Caithamritam shravanam naiva kartavyam sarpochishta yathapaya. Even if somebody is speaking pure Vaishnava Katha or pure Krishna Katha, shravanam naiva kartavyam, please don't hear if he is not a Vaishnava. Because it is like a milk which is touched by a serpent. It will not help you. It will kill. What will be killed? Our spiritual desires to become devotee will be killed. Because if anybody is speaking anything, they are not just speaking words. They are speaking their convictions. When we hear some words, they are mixed with the convictions of a person. That's what affects us. Not just the words. And that's the difference between hearing from a sadhaka and hearing from a pure devotee. There's a difference. The words may be the same, but the convictions and the faith is transmitted through those words. That makes the difference. So a person may be speaking pure Krishna Katha, but what is his conviction? What is his desire? That is transmitted. If the desire is material name, fame, profit, adoration, distinction, that will be transmitted. Will not become more devotional, will become more material minded. And Prabhupada writes, because a Vaishnava is spiritually potent, he is empowered by Krishna. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Prabhupada writes, when a pure Vaishnava speaks, he speaks perfectly. How to understand? How is this? Because any human body has four defects. Ram, pramad, karna, pata, vipralipsa. When a pure devotee speaks, he speaks perfectly. How is this possible? Because a person may be having a human body, but it is like an iron which is put in the fire. The iron becomes fiery. A pure devotee speech is managed by Krishna. And we know this famous pastime. Prabhupada would always say, when I sit to write, Krishna is there coming and dictating. I am just taking dictation. It is not me who is writing. That's why Srila Prabhupada, he would read his own books. And he would be amazed and surprised. He would be laughing. He would be enjoying. And devotees would be surprised. But does he know that he has written these books? Prabhupada was completely absorbed hearing Krishna book and all the Bhagavatam book stories as if he is hearing for the first time. That's a devotee. Because a pure devotee knows that this is not me. This is Krishna writing. Kasmai yena vibhashito matulo jnana pradipa pura tadarupena janaradaya munaya krishnaya tadarupena yogindraya tadatmanata bhagavadirātaya karunyata tashinvan pratha tat shuddham tat shinvan smaran vicharana paro bhaktya vimuchye naraha. Whenever Brahma is speaking, kasmai yena vibhashito, it is Krishna speaking. Whenever Narada is speaking to Vyasa, it is Krishna speaking. When Vyasa is speaking to Shukadeva Goswami, it is Krishna speaking. When Shukadeva is speaking to Parikshit, it is Krishna speaking. Tashrinvan supathan vicharan paro bhaktya vimuchyen naraha. Please hear, please read, please contemplate this wonderful discussions of Bhagavatam. It is Krishna who is speaking. So Prabhupada writes, non-devotees under Mahamaya and devotees under Yogamaya. There is a gulf of difference between the statements made by a devotee and a non-devotee. When a devotee speaks, he is guided by the Supreme Lord. When a non-devotee speaks, he is guided by Mahamaya. Under the influence of Mahamaya, a non-devotee speaks. So then after describing this, Ramanandra, he starts speaking about the love of the gopis. He first glorifies the love of the gopis. And he says, Radha Krishnera lila e ati gurhatar dasya vatsalyadi bhave na hoye gochar. The pastimes of Radha and Krishna, they are very confidential. Even if somebody is in Dasya Bhav or Vatsalya Bhav or Sakhya Bhav, they cannot understand the conjugal pastimes. Who is qualified to hear these Ras Lila and all the conjugal pastimes? Who can understand? Who can appreciate? Very important. Adhikar is very important. Are we qualified? One time Prabhupada went to a house of a life member. And the lady there, she was telling, Swamiji, please speak about Ras Lila. And Prabhupada was just avoiding this topic. Swamiji, we want to hear the 10th canto Ras Lila pastimes. 2-3 times she spoke. She asked. Prabhupada, he said, you may be qualified to hear, I am not qualified to speak. Who is qualified to hear all these conjugal pastimes? Sabe ek sakhi ganer iha adhikar Sakhi hoite hai ei lilara vistar. Actually, Ramananda Rai says only the gopis have the right to appreciate these conjugal pastimes. Sabe ek sakhi ganer lilar adhikar. They only have adhikar. Before asking anything, we should know what is our adhikar. Are we qualified for it? Who is qualified? Sakhi gan. Sakhi hoite. Hoye ei lilara vistar. Only they can expand these wonderful pastimes, nobody else. Sakhi vinai lila pushte nahi hoye. Sakhi lila vistariya, sakhi aswaday. Sakhi bina, without the sakhis, these pastimes of Radha and Krishna cannot be nourished. Only sakhis can nourish and relish. Sakhi lila vistariya, only they can broadcast the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Nobody else has the right to broadcast. Nobody can speak. Adhikar hona chahiye na. You should have adhikar to speak about these. Just because somebody can understand English cannot make him qualified to read Chaitanya Charitāmrta or Govinda, Gita Govinda in English. Somebody reads Sanskrit, oh, I am qualified to read with Govinda. No. Sakhi Ganer, Sakhi Lila Vistariya, they can only broadcast. Sakhi Bina ei Lilara Anvirna Hingati, Sakhi Bhave yai Tare Kore Anugati. Without the help of the gopi, Sakhi Bina ei Lilara Anvirna Hingati. Nobody can enter these pastimes. Sakhi Bhave, only who worships the Lord in the Sakhi Bhav, they can relish. Radha Krishna Kunja Seva Sadhya Sei Pai, Sei Sadhya Paite Ar Nahi Ko Upai. Only they can engage. Those who develop Sakhi Bhav. In the beginning days of ISKCON, some devotees, they came and told Prabhupada that some of the devotees, they have formed a GBC. What is the GBC? Gopi Bhav Club. They are discussing Ras Leela, Sakhi Bhav. Prabhupada said that is not Ras Leela, that is Raskal Leela. They have just started chanting. They have all the anarthas and they are discussing Ras Leela. To come to Sakhi Bhav, it is not easy. Sakhi Bhav means nothing for myself, everything for Krishna. And Ramananda will describe what is this Sakhi Bhav. Who are these Sakhis actually? Very, very detailed description. What is the job description of the Sakhis? Then we'll realize, this is tall order. Radha Krishna Kunja Seva Sadhya Sei Pai, Sei Sadhya Paityara Nahi Kau Pai. Only a person who is in Sakhi Bhav, they can understand Radha Krishna Leela. Prabhupada writes about that. One has to follow in the mood of the gopis, that is Sakhi Bhav. And then in the purport, Prabhupada describes who are these Sakhis? What is their business? He quotes from Rupa Goswami's Ujjwal Nilmani. Prem Leela Viharanam Samyak Vistarika Sakhi Vishramba Ratna Peticha. One who expands the conjugal love of Krishna and his enjoyment among the gopis is called a Sakhi. Such a person is a confidential gopi. Such assistants are like jewels. What is the job description of Sakhis? 16 job descriptions are given by Rupa Goswami in Ujjwal Nilmani. First business of the gopis is to chant the glories of Radha and Krishna. Second, create a situation where they may be attracted to each other. Third, They should create situation where they can come and enjoy together. Fourth, they are surrendered. They never ever desire sense gratification. They always put Krishna in front, Radharani in front. They never ever want to be enjoyed by Krishna. They don't want to enjoy Krishna. They only want to assist Radha and Krishna in their enjoyment. Fifth, they create a very jovial atmosphere. Sixth, they give assurance to both of them so that they can come and enjoy. Seventh, they are expert in dressing and decorating both of them. Third, eighth, they're expert in expressing they create very favorable situation where Radha and Krishna can express their desire. If somebody is not so much close, we don't express our heart's desires, right? We don't express our heart's desire to an outsider. To develop such confidence that I can express my heart's desire to this person, it requires a great deal. It requires complete surrender, complete trust. Krishna loves everyone, trusts a few. Lord Krishna trusts only his pure devotees. He loves everyone, but he trusts only his very, very intimate, pure devotees. And topmost of them is gopis and Radharani. So they have this, they can create, such confidence that Radha and Krishna can express their heart's desires. Ninth, this is little more esoteric. If Radharani has some apparent faults, they conceal it. Sometimes Radharani becomes angry and sometimes, so many things happen. They conceal it. Tenth, in the spiritual world also, sometimes some pastimes are created where the gopis, they have to conceal and cheat their husbands and relatives. Third and 11th, they educate Radha and Krishna how to serve each other. 12th, they enable all the wonderful paraphernalia so that Radha Krishna can meet at a particular time. 13th is a very intimate service. They all fan Radha and Krishna when they are sitting together. And 14th is little interesting. They can even chastise Radha and Krishna when they are not, serving each other for some reasons. They can chastise Krishna when he is not, loving Radharani, not satisfying Radharani. 15th, they actually begin the conversation when Radha Krishna come together. Because of some shyness, they cannot speak. They begin the conversation. And they are always protective of Radharani. And Prabhupada writes, all these things can be imitated by the Sahajiyas. They may also do all these things thinking that hum bhi sakhi ho gaye. There is a group, Sakhi Bheki. They dress themselves, the males, they dress themselves as Sakhis. But Prabhupada writes, Radha and Krishna, they are spiritual. The gopis are spiritual. The dress, the paraphernalia, the ornaments, houses, the bodies of Radha Krishna, the gopis, they are all spiritual. There is nothing material in that. So therefore, how can a person with a material body can do anything spiritual, imitating the pastimes of Radha Krishna? It is just an imitation. It is like ahangrahopasana of Mayavadis, where a person thinks, I am God. So that's how Ramananda describes the gopis' wonderful position. We'll stop here. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।